What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a new movie that was just dropped on Shudder that I knew absolutely nothing about. I just read the plot description before I went in to see this and read a couple of little brief reviews for it beforehand. People saying that it was really strange and abstract and weird, and that there were a lot of things to really appreciate about it, which made me excited to watch this movie. And the film I'm going to be telling you about today is Best Wishes to All. Best Wishes to All is directed by Yuta Shimatsu. A young woman's visit to her grandparents' home leads to the discovery of what brought them to happiness, a revelation that will lead her to question her choices, sanity, and reality itself. So, like I said, I was really excited to watch this movie. It sounded like something that was going to 100% be right up my alley, and I did enjoy this movie. I don't think it's perfect by any means. There's some things about it, and possibly just my understanding of the material thematically in relation to like the Japanese culture and a lot of the themes and how it associates specifically to Japanese culture. I don't think a lot of those elements resonated. I think the main theme did. But there's some pacing issues with the movie and some things that I feel like could have been adjusted to make it really great. But I do really admire this director's approach, and I think there's a lot to enjoy about it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it today. So, in this movie, I don't believe online or anywhere, even in the movie, these characters have names listed outside of like being referred to as grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad. I'm pretty sure that's all you get throughout the entirety of the movie. But we're introduced to this young woman who she's off at college. I believe she's in nursing school, and we see her as a young girl going to her grandparents' house, being with her family, and something happening to her at her grandparents' house when she's very young. She saw something in this room, in this part of their house, and it really scared her. And we see her now, obviously grown as a college student, and she's called by her grandparents to come back to visit them at their house. And so she does. She decides to go there, but she thinks it's going to be very uncomfortable because it's just her grandmother, and grandfather. And at first, when she gets there, everything is seemingly normal until it's not. Her grandparents start acting very weird. They start doing really strange, off the wall things that she can't begin to explain. And she starts to see things, and things progressively start to spiral more and more out of control. And the entirety of the film is watching our lead character experience these things and how they have a direct impact on her life and her future. So, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie, despite the fact that I think it has a fair share of flaws, and also possibly just my understanding of the material and the direction that it goes in. But I do want to start with a lot of the positives. For starters, this movie is beautifully shot. I loved the cinematography in this film. There's a lot of attention to detail in the framing of shots, and I also really like when something horrific was happening, the cinematographer was not afraid to hold on certain shots to make you experience whether it be violent or just shocking or awkward and uncomfortable moments, to really make you focus on those things and have to sit with it with the lead character, which is what I think makes the movie so effective. When you're put in these situations where strange, uncomfortable, weird things happen and you have to experience that in real time, it makes the movie much more visceral. There were moments that sort of reminded me of like Yorgos Lanthimos, where something disturbing or strange would be occurring on screen and you didn't know necessarily whether to laugh or react harshly. And I think that's a testament to a really great director, is when they can put forth something where they can give you this wide array of emotions from viewing something that normally should be perceived in one specific way, but emotionally in context to the moment, how you perceive it as a viewer is entirely going to be based on your reception to that specific situation. And there are a lot of moments like that in this movie where it's just like really uncomfortable or strange, and the cinematographer holding on those scenes really is what makes it so incredibly effective. There's some beautiful like landscape cinematography. They really capture setting and environment well, and like the reveal of some of the more creepy moments I really liked a lot. I enjoyed all the performances in this movie as well. They all felt incredibly natural, especially the two actors who play the grandparents. All the weird, eerie, unsettling stuff with them, they do a really great job with it. And I thought our lead actress did a really nice job too, as this person who genuinely is trying to be good and help people and do positive things in the world, and this weird stuff starts happening to her, and seeing how she kind of shifted in the situation was really interesting. And I liked that a lot. I thought her performance was really great. And my favorite part about this movie is the way that it explores the idea of happiness and how, like, when you look at happiness as this achievable thing, because I'm someone who my perception of what happiness is and fulfillment and happiness has really kind of shifted throughout my life. I don't think anyone can live in a permanent state of happiness. It's impossible. This world is too dark and evil of a place, and people can just be too awful to constantly sustain moments of happiness. And this movie examines it in regard to having to steal someone else's happiness or people's happiness being taken from them, and like just joy and seeking out like fulfillment and career paths and all of these different things, and how like unless you make sacrifices you can't experience that, or unless someone else makes a sacrifice you can't experience that happiness. And I do think that that's really true and indicative in life. Like no matter what happens when you're trying to achieve those moments, like people can be hurt at the expense of someone else's happiness. You can hurt yourself at the expense of trying to obtain happiness. There's so many different things that can come up in your life that can shift those feelings around. And the movie does a really great job examining a lot of that. And I thought, in relation to happiness in like elderly people versus young people who are just starting their lives, there's a lot of really fascinating conversations that can be had in correlation to this film, which is something that I really liked quite a bit. As far as my issues with this movie, I do think there's some pacing problems in it. There were some moments that I just felt like certain scenes dragged out a bit too long, or they were too repetitive to really like stick completely. Like towards the middle of the movie, I felt like it was just kind of like circling the same things over and over again, to where I feel like they could have introduced more interesting ideas surrounding specific characters or themes that the film was trying to explore. Not that it was terrible by any means. I just feel like they could have cleaned little things up here and there to make it much more effective. Like I said, this movie explores a lot of different themes, including like fertility and like specific elements to family dynamic that might be culturally specific that may have gone over my head. And so there were certain moments towards the end when it comes to the more surrealist, nightmarish elements that the film was trying to convey that didn't necessarily land for me perfectly. And maybe on a rewatch it would work a little bit better. But the ending, especially, there were a couple of things that were introduced that I don't think landed for me, possibly the way that they would land for other viewers. But I think for the most part, that centralized idea of like loneliness and like this family dynamic that's being explored, that was so incredibly effective in a way that I think made the movie work for me for the most part. And it is a relatively slow paced movie. There are some genuinely unsettling things that happen. It's not loaded or filled with jump scares, but I think if you're into like indie art house horror filmmaking, you'll find something to appreciate with this movie. So have you seen Best Wishes to All? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I thought it was very well made, and despite issues that I have with the movie, I think it's worth your time. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.